All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Highlight Reel. This is episode 4, and welcome back to the show this week, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fun and interesting week, and a couple interesting things have happened, so we should have a pretty fun episode this week. But first of all, welcome back. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a pretty good week. If you did, then that's awesome, and I'm happy for you. And if not, then hopefully that turns around for you. Because I'm always hoping nothing but the best for y'all. But yeah, State of the Union this week, as we're kind of just going to hop right into it. A lot of stuff going on this week. So last week we talked a lot about the roster changes and different things that were going on. Obviously, the headline was Spartan getting dropped from Sentinels last week. Let me scoot up a little bit, actually. But yeah, Spartan got dropped from Sentinels, which was a little bit of a shock to everybody. Maybe not a total shock considering their placement at Arlington at the opener. Obviously, they massively underperformed, and some more news came out about that. And Sparty obviously told his side of the story on Twitter, and then a couple days later, found out the news obviously that Spartan was getting dropped. So definitely big considering Sentinels. You would probably pre-Arlington, you probably would have said they were our 4th best team going into that event. So definitely crazy to see that sort of change and that shift come so quick at the start of the season. But also, you gotta understand from Sentinel's perspective, like, they're trying to win. Like, obviously, it's always a very limited time frame, but there's no better time to make a roster change than at the beginning of the season, because if you're gonna have a problem, you'd rather get it fixed now as opposed to the event before the World Championship or something like that. You don't want to be scrambling late in the season. So definitely a little bit of a quick hook by Sentinels, but also you can kind of understand where they're coming from. It's just an unfortunate situation all around because, like I talked about last week, Spartan, one of the best players in the game. I would certainly probably have him at top 10 in this game. But yeah, he definitely is somebody that we need to see on the stage. And that being said, update on some of that stuff going into this week. I think for this week's Open Series, now I didn't get a chance to watch this week's Open Series. Unfortunately, I had some family stuff going on. But I believe Spartan is now playing with Complexity, and I believe Precision is now playing with Sentinels. So it appears to be just sort of a 1-for-1 trade with Sentinels and Complexity. So pretty interesting to see. Obviously, the biggest part of that is Spartan playing with Ryanoob again. This is now, I believe, round 3 for Sparty and Ryanoob playing together. And so we will see if the cycle repeats, if they now are able to play alongside one another before they start hating each other once again, perhaps late in the season. We'll see if the cycle repeats. But also, perhaps maybe the third time is the charm, and Ryanoob and Spartan, now under this Complexity banner, will be able to form a pretty nasty team. We'll see. Obviously, just sort of looking at it 1-for-1 on paper, I don't know, and this is no disrespect to Precision, because Precision is obviously very good. We've seen what he can do these past couple tournaments, but also I don't know if he's really necessarily been around long enough in Halo for us to consider him like fully proven. So it's going to be interesting to see what that does to Sentinel's dynamic and their lineup. Like, I'm interested to see if Sentinels now performs better, or if they take a step back and maybe have a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to playing with Precision. Because like I said, Spartan, I thought, fit very well with that team. Obviously, 3 of those players won the Reach event together, obviously without Lethal. So that core had proven success and was very good together, and I thought they had good chemistry. And it was a team that Spartan seemed to fit with very well, personality-wise, which has been kind of, I guess, the critique on him as a player in the past. So it's definitely a pretty major change. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform. And like I said, I did not get a chance to watch the first day of the HCS Open Series, which was a couple days ago. But I believe from the time that this podcast comes out, the next part of the Open Series, which I think is like the top 6 or something, that should be like tomorrow, if I'm correct. So yeah, I have to peep that and see what's going on there. And then the other piece of that was Collect. And I'm not sure who, like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the Open Series, so I'm not sure who Collect is playing with or if he's playing with anybody. But I'm sure I'll be able to see who he's going to end up playing with, because I'm sure Collect is going to land himself on a team. But then also, to go back to Native, obviously what they ended up doing, Native dropped Collect and picked up Gilkey. So a lot of people were speculating that perhaps Spartan was going to end up going to Native, because Native also had that spot available. But I believe Spartan actually himself came out and said on Twitter that Native had already finalized their fourth before people knew that he had gotten dropped. So he was never really on the radar or available for Native to pick him up. So Native went out and got Gilkey. So obviously very interested to see what that lineup is capable of now, which I believe their lineup is Mikwin, APG, Gilkey, and Barcode. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, obviously, if they perform better. I know I'm kind of saying the same thing with a lot of these teams. But really their sort of performance and their skill ceiling is up in the air, because we've seen sort of a revolving door with a lot of these lineups, and not a lot of proven success outside of the top four or maybe the big three. So I'm definitely curious to see how all of this is going to play out. Like I said, we have more Open Series stuff coming up, as well as London stuff is going to be happening here pretty soon, which I believe these Pro Series have been qualifiers. Where I believe, yeah, the one that happened a couple of days ago, yeah, these are all London qualifiers. So London stuff happening very, very soon. And let's take a look at what else, just to go over what else happened this week. That was all I had as far as the HCS stuff. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing, which was the Infinite updates. There was, I forget what it's called. But the new update is Banish themed. But the major part of it for us for ranked is we have the rig from Halo 5 back in the competitive rotation, and it is called Interference now. So super dope to see another Halo 5 map make it back into the rotation. Especially the rig is one of my favorites, and one of the ones that plays pretty well in terms of competitive. It entered the rotation yesterday in ranked, and I played 1 or 2 games of it and really enjoyed it. A lot of the skill jumps from Halo 5 are still present, and it played pretty well. So it's another map that we can throw in the rotation. It plays a lot of game types, so it's pretty versatile. You can play Slayer, you can play Holds, you can play King of the Hill, which I believe are all the game types that are currently being played on it. But you could also maybe test Ball on it. I think we tested that in Halo 5. But yeah, pretty versatile map and a pretty good one. The main point of controversy with it, I don't think anybody was really concerned about like layout or if this is going to be a good map or anything, but the main point of concern and controversy that I was seeing was, once again, people are not happy with the sort of color palette and how the map looks. If you guys have seen it or have gotten a chance to play on it yet, you'll know that it's like the Lockout Halo 2 aesthetic, which is very icy and sort of abandoned, frozen base feeling, which people have been complaining for a long time about the sort of monotone, not very colorful, not very bright maps. That was definitely the main complaint about Solitude, about the Plaza remake. And if you, like I said, if you've played or have seen Interference yet, then you'll know it's nowhere near as bad as Solitude. It's pretty bright in some areas, but and it actually looks pretty good. But it is definitely like it's not as bright or as colorful or even as good looking as the Halo 5 version. So unfortunately, I saw a lot of people hating on the Forger for that, which is pretty unfortunate because the Forger set out to forge the rig with a lockout aesthetic, which he did, and he did a great job of, which a whole other complaint that people have is that the maps are not colorful enough and whatever. But the Forager did what he set out to do, so it doesn't make sense to attack him, which was kind of unfortunate. And especially given the state of Halo and where we are as a community, it's definitely unfortunate to see people like, I don't know, just being so toxic in certain scenarios. And it definitely wasn't all the way toxic, but I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate to see people being mean, especially when that guy. I mean, I'm sure that guy worked his ass off, um, making that map, and like I said, probably did exactly what he set out to do when it comes to making it look like it was a lockout uh aesthetic. But yeah, I digress. It's just kind of unfortunate to see, but I also, like I said, I did see a lot of positivity, and it's good to see a new map in the rotation. Unfortunately, the main problem with Infinite and with its competitive rotation that we've seen thus far is that we have a pretty good assortment of maps at this point, but we cannot seem to get set on any good CTF maps. We have had so much trouble finding good CTF maps, and we have cycled in and out. We had Bazaar at the beginning of the game, then that got cycled out. We had Catalyst, that got cycled out. Thank God, Catalyst was terrible. And I think we've tested some others. There was that one midship remix that we play tested that was like sort of spacey. I forget what that one was called. But yeah, that's been the major problem with, or maybe not problem, but point of concern with the Halo Infinite competitive rotation is that we don't have enough flag maps. But that being said, they just put Interference, which is a remake of the rig, back in the competitive rotation, and there have been murmurs of a Coliseum Forge remake that's also being play tested, which obviously Coliseum, another Halo 5 map remake, and would alleviate some of those capture the flag problems, because Coliseum obviously a capture the flag and a Slayer map from Halo 5. And I don't know, you could maybe play some other game types on it. I believe we play tested Strongholds on Coliseum in Halo 5, and that didn't end up being very good. But you could maybe play King of the Hill. I'm not sure how that would play on it. But yeah, just some interesting things to think about and maybe test. But it's good to see, obviously, still some updates and some new stuff coming to Halo Infinite, and some new fresh things. Hopefully, I don't believe there's been any major update on the cheating or anything that's going on with. Obviously, that's been a pretty major problem for the past few weeks since the whatever the update was called that changed it, all the anti-cheat stuff. So hopefully a lot of those problems are fixed pretty soon as well, because it would be unfortunate to have a lot of that stuff linger. But yeah. Also, looking at the calendar last week, we had a couple of HCS events. I played in, yeah, I think we talked about it on last week's show as well. But I had a play date with Eli, Real Life Spartan, and Jeremy Stress that went pretty well. We ended up playing kind of a mixture of like Forest things and also a lot of squad battle, which I put out a clip on Twitter, which you'll probably also see in a stream highlights at some point on this channel. But we had a pretty good night, had a lot of clips between all of us, and got a lot of wins, which was a lot of fun. But then also the other night, Monday night, just a couple days ago, I had a play date with Real Life Spartan, Spiteful, and Red Gear, which, like I talked about before, some homies that I don't get to game with very often. So that was really cool. Obviously, Real Life Spartan is somebody that I play with a lot and do a lot of HCS community events with. Obviously, we've played together on main stage, and he's been a friend of the channel for a very long time. But specifically, Spiteful and Red Gear, two people that I have not gotten to hang out with and game with very often. So I think I mentioned it in last week's episode, but I got the chance to meet both of them. Spiteful and I streamed together at the HCS streamer booth at the World Championship last year, when we were streaming for charity. And Red Gear, I believe, was also there, and I believe we met for a second. So I believe I've met both of them sort of in passing at tournaments, and I've gotten to hang out with Spiteful a little bit, but really one of the first times I've gotten to game with them, so it was a lot of fun. We played It was kind of a mixture of, we played a little bit of squad battle. We played a lot of Husky Raid. We ended up going, I think we went completely undefeated in Husky Raid on the night. We played Husky Raid for like 3 hours, and I don't think we lost a single game. And there were some sweaty ones in there. Don't get it twisted. We weren't just running over the playlist. Especially, I think y'all know, if y'all still play Infinite a good deal, if you get any more than 2 players with some high MMR in a lobby together and you start searching, like especially those play dates where it's like me, Eli, Jeremy Stress, like if you put our CSR together and we start searching together, we get some sweaty motherfucking lobbies, dude. It is absolute warfare no matter what playlist we're playing, no matter whether it's ranked or whether it's social. And to be honest, it's social every time because unfortunately, with the 1600 rule, we can't play ranked because all of us are over 1600 in Onyx. So definitely unfortunate in that regard. But there were some sweaty games, and we went undefeated in Husky Raid, so it was a great time. And we ended up playing some custom games. We ended up playing some hot potato and some movement maps and some Indiana Jones game types. Just a lot of fun customs and stuff that I don't normally get up to. It's one of my favorite parts of these community events and these play dates. I talked about it a little bit last week as well. But I love getting to game with a huge variety of people. Sometimes it's gaming with my friends. Like I had a play date the other week that was with Eli and SJ and Nick. And, that's just essentially me gaming with some homies. Like I've known all of them for years. We're all really good friends. And so that's more chill vibes, just playing some games, relaxing, joking around. Whereas there are some events like this one where I'm playing with some new homies. I'm getting to experience like some new people and some guys that I don't get to game with and some personalities that I don't really mix with that often. But also I get to play different things and try different things, sometimes that are out of my comfort zone. Because I mean, y'all know me. I'm like a ranked guy, and in Halo terms, that means I really only stick to like a couple playlists. I don't play a wide variety of stuff. So it's very interesting too in these play dates. Like I love going, and we've been doing the legendary campaigns. Obviously the other night with Red Gear and Spiteful and RLS, we were playing custom games, stuff that I just don't get to do very often. And also coming up here soon in the next few days, I believe next Monday actually, we have another grassroots playdate with myself, Eli X, Extreme Breaker, and Jeremy Stress, where we are going to be going through all of the ODST legendary firefight maps, which something that I've never done. And also since ODST has come to MCC and since it's gone to PC, one of the updates for MCC a couple years ago was they added the Flood firefight and I think some new firefight maps. So there's stuff there that I haven't even ever played before. So that's one of the cooler parts, I think, of really getting to play in these community events is just the variety of people that I play with, as well as the variety of like different events that we do and different things that we play. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the calendar. There's also a squad battle playdate on this calendar that I may or may not be playing in. I think I may have gotten invited. So I may be playing. I either have one or I have 2 HCS events this upcoming week, as well as the next day of the Open Series. The HCS Open Series should be, I think, like tomorrow, from when you guys see this. So, lot of stuff. Oh, and also there's another Open Series this weekend. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, there's actually like 4 or 5 things this upcoming week that we've got going on for Halo. So pretty good stuff. So pretty exciting and interesting last couple weeks. Just the other things to go over really quickly that were new with the Infinite update, where I think there were some like weapon tuning changes, and there was another new map called Corrosion that was added, which is I believe a social map. But I don't know what all the changes were. But I believe like the main thing was like the plasma pistol like EMPs vehicles again, which a lot of people were very excited for. But then also on the other side, on the flip side of the coin, a lot of people were like talking shit about the fact that a lot of people were excited about it because they're like, oh, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of news and like all this shit, which like definitely are. But like I don't know, man. It seems like nobody's allowed to be happy, and also nobody's allowed to be mad anymore. We can't have anything nice. But then, aside from the weapon tuning, the main other things with the update were there are some banished cosmetics, and then also they brought back the exchange, which is a feature from MCC where essentially you earn in-game currency over time, and you can use the in-game currency to buy customizable items and cosmetics and stuff, which essentially is just another avenue for people to play the game and earn unlockable items without having to pay real money. Because I think another main point of complaints with Infinite, especially recently and in the past year, has been the store and the monetization of the game. A lot of people have not really approved of their strategies and their prices. Um, so the Spartan points in the exchange is just another way for people to be able to earn things and get things out of the shop without even having to spend real money. So cool. It's a little bit of like a minor thing at this point. Obviously, the game has been out for like 2.5 years at this point. So it's kind of late, and it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna move the needle or anything in terms of like. I don't think that's gonna bring a lot more people back to the game or anything. So it's cool to have, but that's really just like a quality of life thing for existing players on this game. And that being said, as well, I don't think the rig is gonna really bring back a ton of players either. Interference being in the ranked rotation. Not to say those things and be negative, but like just minor updates. Definitely things that are good to have if you are the people like us, the players that are still playing. And definitely nice to have. But it's nothing that's super major or that's gonna get a ton of people in the game. Um, but yeah, and obviously we will have to see what the future of Halo Infinite and also what the future of just kind of Halo in general is going to be. But I think that kind of does it for Halo and Halo stuff this past week and next week. Uh, for the sort of lull period that it seems like we've been in, and obviously there's been ever since they canceled ever since they canceled the seasons model a couple months ago, it feels like we've sort of been in like a valley in terms of like morale and like news and stuff. But for all that being said, I feel like it's been a pretty eventful last couple weeks. But yeah, just hoping that the game continues to improve and the player experience continues to improve and the community is able to remain strong. And yeah, hopefully we can fix the cheating problems, and I don't know. Hopefully we can just start to continue to get on the right track. Um, yeah, like I said, that's kind of it for Halo stuff this week. So I'm just gonna kind of touch on the rest of the stuff, and we'll go into what I've been watching and playing this past week, and then we'll probably wrap things up for the show today. But the past week has kind of been all about sports. There's a ton of stuff going on. The MLB season has been very exciting thus far. Obviously, I'm a Braves fan, and my Braves are off to a phenomenal start. Best record in the National League, I believe. Um, and we just played a pretty solid string of games, swept the Astros in Houston, and took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, defending world champs. And then I believe we also just swept Miami, but Miami's not very good this year. It's been a great start to the season for the Braves, even though I think most of our players have been either injured or starting slow. We lost Spencer Strider for the year, which unfortunately there's been a lot of pitcher injuries. That was kind of our big hit. Ozzy Albies got hurt. Sean Murphy got hurt. But through all of that, and I think a lot of our players have started slow. Matt Olson, Acuna, obviously MVP last year, has been hitting pretty well, but only has one homer, I think, to this point. But yeah, aside from the sort of slow individual starts from a lot of our players, they're off to a great start team wise, which I think probably speaks to the depth of the Braves this year. Which don't get it twisted. It is not lost on me as a Braves fan that we have an embarrassment of riches at the moment, and that these are like the good days, because as a Braves fan, there were a lot of bad years in the mid 2010s and the late 2000s. Obviously, the Braves were very good in the early 2000s and in the 90s. But for the past few years, especially that I've been watching, the Braves have not been very good. So the past 3 or 4 years, really since the Braves have been good, have been a lot of fun to watch. So a good time to be a Braves fan. So yeah, great start to the baseball season, but also this week the NBA playoffs started, which has been crazy, crazy thus far. Been so many great games to start the NBA playoffs. The Suns and the Timberwolves has been pretty exciting, and Edwards has been playing very well. I believe the Knicks and the 76ers had a crazy end of their game the other night. And I think the Knicks are up 2-0 over the Sixers at this point, which is pretty crazy. Um, Obviously there was the Jamal Murray buzzer beater in the Denver Lakers game the other night. So just a ton of different sports stuff going on. I my sports knowledge is also, and my sports viewing is also pretty limited. Baseball and basketball are like my two main things. So for me right now, this is like the best time of the year because this is like the only time of the year where I've just got sports on all the time, all day, every day. So I have been just in heaven as a sports fan these past couple of days. But then also Mavs Clippers has been a great time. Um but yeah, I think that's also pretty much it in terms of what I've been watching. I've been also playing the past couple days. I've been talking about RPGs a little bit the past couple weeks and these past couple shows, but I have been playing over the past week. I have gotten fully and wholly sucked in to Mass Effect. Mass Effect, something that I've played for the first time. I might have even mentioned it on last week's show. But Mass Effect, something that I played for the first time during the pandemic, and I remember really liking it I played it in 2020, so it's been 4 years at this point. I remember really liking it, but also I was I was probably on off of so much Pine Park that I don't even remember what I did or how I played it. I don't know. I remember enjoying it, but I don't think it was anything super remarkable to me. But playing it for this past week, especially, I played through all the way through Mass Effect 1 and started Mass Effect 2, and I'm like probably 4 or 5 hours into my Mass Effect 2 run. Which also I know Mass Effect 2 is like the GOAT game of that series, and 2 and 3 are supposed to be very good. But yeah, I really enjoyed it when I played it the first time, but I don't know how I did not get as sucked in as I did this time. For whatever reason, this time around playing through it, something just hit different about it, bro. Just I've gotten completely sucked into the story and the lore and everything behind it and trying to navigate myself to the best ending to have all my friends survive and do all the shit and like bro, it has been such a blast. I've been playing obviously, I've played the Old Republic, which was a Bioware game, but I think that's kind of all my experience with those games. But just been absolutely loving it, having a great time. For those interested, I was fully Paragon. I've just watched too much Doctor Who in my life. I cannot bring myself to go around the galaxy and be an asshole. I'm just going around playing hero, saving everybody and trying to make sure I'm nice to all my friends and shit. I'm always picking all the nice dialogue options. So that's something that I've been enjoying on my downtime, just sort of by myself. Recently, I've been playing that by myself, just kind of going through it and getting fully sort of invested in it. But it's definitely something that I want to do on stream here soon. So also just to go over what we've been doing on stream, which by the way, link in the description of every single video. And if you are listening to this podcast on another platform, make sure to go check out the Twitch, twitch.tv/Reclamer. That's Reclaimer with an X instead of an A. But I'm streaming pretty much every single day. We've got a ton of Halo stuff going on, like we talked about earlier in the episode, but also I have been playing a ton of other games. And also, if you are curious, the VODs and the rebroadcasts for everything, every single one of my streams, go up on my second channel, which is linked in the description of every single one of my YouTube videos as well. And that channel is Reclaimer, but it's spelled RECLAYMER. So it's Reclaimer, like my name. It's real creative, I know. But anytime I play any game, or first of all my VODs and rebroadcasts are on that channel. But anytime I play any other game, any single player game, or just whatever, they all go into playlists that are organized on that channel. So you can go back and see every single game that I've played through on stream. So like we've played through all the Batman games, we've played through most of the Assassin's Creed games, we played through Mafia, like the remastered Mafia and Mafia 2. We've played through most of the Halo campaigns. you can go find playlists of all of my VODs from when I was live at from Halo tournaments or when we did grassroots events. You can go basically find all of it on that channel. But recently we've been going through. I played through all the GTA games, so I played GTA 3 on stream. We skipped Vice City because I think Vice City has a thing at the end of the game where it like locks you out of the final mission because you have to like buy all the properties. So we skipped Vice City for the time being, which we'll probably go play at some point. But we played San Andreas. We played GTA 4, which I had never played GTA 4 as well. We just finished that a few days ago, and I love GTA 4, by the way. Just something that sort of evaded me, I guess, when I was younger. But played through that story for the first time and really, really enjoyed it. And now we are currently on stream playing through GTA 5, the story for that game, as well as Hogwarts Legacy. So playing a lot of fun stuff on stream, and that's kind of what we've been up to recently. And that's been a ton of fun. But yeah, just really been enjoying a ton of games, been enjoying a ton of sports. Yeah, that's kind of been life recently. We've got a lot of stuff going on coming up. I've got some more Halo stuff, and obviously HCS London we're preparing to have pretty soon. Yeah, I believe I have some travel coming up over the next couple months. And yeah, so my calendar is getting pretty full. I'm going to start getting some stuff ironed out, I think, in the next few weeks, and I'll probably have more to share when it comes to like what we've got going on in the next few weeks. I don't think I could talk too much about a lot of it. But there should be some pretty exciting stuff coming up, and that's all I can really say. The life's been pretty good recently. I've just been kind of chilling, doing the thing, and looking forward to doing it some more. I hope y'all have enjoyed the content recently. I've been having a blast doing consistent stuff and really getting back into the swing of doing this show specifically has been a lot of fun as well. Just having this sort of opportunity to chill and talk to you guys and just really talk about what's going on and I don't know, just really share our experiences and stuff. I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But it's been a fun, chill thing, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it, and hopefully it hasn't been terrible. But yeah, it is almost 3 a.m. as I'm recording this, and I am beginning to ramble, as I'm sure you guys can tell. So I believe we are probably going to quit while we're ahead, and we're going to go ahead and call it for this episode here. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me for another episode of the highlight reel. Like I said, I've been having a ton of fun doing this show, and I've been having a ton of fun making stuff and making content recently. So we are continuing, man, full steam ahead. Got a ton of HCS events, playing in a ton of community events, and like I said, we've got a bunch of competitive stuff for the HCS scene going on as well. So exciting few weeks coming up. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for spending your time with me again this week. Remember to get down in the comments and let me know how y'all are doing, as well as what you thought, and as well as sort of how you're feeling about Halo and everything that's going on right now, competitive and just sort of game-wise. But yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to, like I said, get down in the description and check out all my other stuff, my Twitch, Twitter, second channel, all that stuff. And also, if you would like to go listen to this podcast on any other platform, wherever you get your podcast, you should be able to listen. But there is a link in the description that will take you to the podcast profile where you can go listen on then whatever podcast you want to, or whatever platform you want to listen on, whether that be Apple Podcast or Spotify or just whatever. I think we're on Amazon Podcasts as well. But yeah, and then also if you're listening to this on any other platform, make sure to go check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/reclaimer. We're doing stuff pretty much every single day. If we don't have a long form video coming out, there's usually a short coming out. So a lot of stuff going on the channel. And yeah, it's going to do it for us today. So like I said, I appreciate y'all kicking it with me for another episode. Much love, much respect, as always. Stay tuned, everybody. And we'll catch y'all next time.